Welcome. In this video, we're gonna dive into why SiteGPT is super cool and customizable from an appearance standpoint. If you're trying to make your SiteGPT chatbot look spicy, well then, you know exactly where to be. That's right here. So in all seriousness, your SiteGPT bot is awesome in the sense that you can do a couple different things to make the appearance different. First and foremost, there is this appearance section that you're able to edit once you're within a currently created chatbot. And when you're in the process of starting off and creating a chatbot, after you add your different data sources, so for example, even if it's just one link by using the single link feature, fetch links and go to that next step, you're able to start your journey off by creating a chatbot that is exactly the look and feel that you want. So this chatbot name is going to, for example, just be my company name. Let's, for example, type out Rise Productive Chatbot. And then the welcome message can be anything you want. So at the start of the process, when you can see this on the bottom right of your embedded chatbot, you'll notice that it has intro text. So rather than having this welcome message say this, I could say, ask me anything you'd like. And this intro text would showcase right here. So I can put that and then placeholder text. So that's just gonna be when you are first clicking on your bot and starting the conversation. You can see right here, this says ask me anything in the chatbot. So we can change this to anything we want, or if we leave this default, just like if we had left that default, it would just keep it like that. So if you'll notice now, when I'm tweaking this at the top, this is gonna change that first message in the chat as well. So if I did this, it would show that, which would be incoherent, and we wouldn't want that to happen. Next, we have the option to change the chat interface and the colors overall. So for example, we can change this primary color to anything using hex codes. I would recommend you just Google Hex Code Color Picker and then go to one of these. And for example, say I really like this color here. You can copy the primary color and then just paste it within here. And you'll notice this changes the bot. I would want it to be a different color like red. I could snag this and then paste it in there. And you'll notice on the right over here, it will show you what the color is in this little dot as well. It could be very dark and pick black if I want as well, or white, and just paste that in here too. Now, when it comes to text color, very similar. You can put anything you want. You'll notice if I put a bunch of zeros, it'll just black everything out, which is not ideal, obviously. But I just wanted to show you that this does in fact change the color. I could make this grotesquely yellow or green, paste this in here and make it whatever color I want. And this is just gonna change the color of the bot chat on this top section, and then the responses that the user would have. So I'm just gonna leave this as is, probably the best choice for it being white in this context. Now you do have the option to pick what different size the font is. So this can be anywhere from 1 to as large as you want it to be. So for example, instead of 14, I could type 16, 20, or for example, if I wanted to change it without typing, I could nudge this up or nudge this down by clicking. Now, for the chat height, that just means how big this bot is. So once again, as you see, I type as an option, or I can nudge this to be bigger or smaller based on my preference with the arrow keys or by clicking. So I'm gonna set it back to default by deleting out the text there. And you'll notice there are a couple more options here. Like for example, we can hide this learn more section, and that's just gonna hide the sources from where you get the response generated from. So it's just gonna be these guys. You can also hide the tooltip if you don't wanna showcase the tooltip on the chat icon. And you can hide feedback buttons if you don't wanna show a positive or negative response in your chatbot, which is this thumbs up or thumbs down. When it comes to the right to left feature, this is a feature that allows you to adjust the view from your language from left to right to right to left. Now, the reason for that is in a lot of Arabic languages, this is the direction that languages are read. And it is very useful for those different languages. And we wanted to make sure that we allowed that to be the case for those people who are in need of this exact feature. For the most part, for Western languages, you're not really gonna need this. Latin-based languages usually are left to right, so leaving it unticked is perfectly fine. Now, when it comes to the chat icon, this is just gonna change like what this like little chat bot icon is, which is obviously the logo of SiteGPT. And first of all, you can change the distance from the bottom. So if I type 20 or do up and down as well, that option can be changed there. And the same goes for the horizontal distance too. What this is referring to is the position that it would be on your website. What it is currently is on the bottom right. So now if I pick bottom left, it would, if I'm embedding it on my website, go over here into this left, go from here to here in the embed. Then you can also pick the size. So the size is just gonna be literally, do you want it to start small? Do you want it to be absolutely ginormous? That's kind of up to you. And then you can change the bot icon. So if I click on this, I could pick in my content over here, any of the logos I'd want. I can pick this one right here and it will change this in a second. Then we have the option to change a couple other things. So the user icon, as well as the agent icon and the chat bubble icon. So once I press create chatbot, a lot of this will more come into fruition. So once I go to the appearance tab, what you're gonna see is that now I have this logo added, I have all of these different things implemented, and I still have all of the available options that I had before. So if I wanted to add a user icon, that would be different. What I could do is I could go to my select user icon, and then you'll see right here that this changed. So if I, for example, were to delete this now, it would not show anything. So by default, the user icon isn't there. But if I were to select the agent icon, once again, I can click on that and press save changes. So if I don't want to have the agent or chat bubble icon show, however, I can press delete for either of these and then press save changes. Now, when it comes to what you'll notice here is I already have some quick prompts set up. So in order to do that, it's actually a pretty simple process. All you need to do to have quick prompts like these is on the right-hand side here, you just need to put a title. So for example, if you want somebody to contact you, I already have one set up here, which all of these can be easily edited. If you see I press edit, this showcases it right here. I can press delete to remove them immediately. So say I wanted to put contact us. How to contact your team is a question that could be asked. You can change it to how do I get in touch with Dimitri Panici, that's who I am, / his team. Or you do have the option to set it so that if this is set, then the prompt will be ignored and this link will be opened instead of sending the prompt in the chat. I'll show you that in a moment. So let's press add quick prompt. And you'll notice now in my bot, if I go here and press start a conversation, now if I click contact us, it'll type this out immediately. So this is gonna be used for your most frequently asked questions. Like, how do I get in touch with me? Just, booking a call or reaching out to this email. So if I didn't want that to happen, what I could do instead was I could press edit, or in the initial adding phases, I could go to my contact us page, copy this link, and then paste it right here. So then when I update this quick prompt and it says updated, so then when I go back to my chatbot, when I click contact us, it will bring me to that specific web page and override the prompt. This is very important because oftentimes it's just better to send them to the landing page rather than have them interact with the chatbot. So I do think for things like, hey, where can I find Notion templates, for example? You just send them to the Notion templates product page rather than being like, you can find it here. Like, would make more sense to just send them to the page. Now, anytime I would want a follow-up to this prompt, so for example, I have this video production info, I could add follow-up prompts. So I already have a follow-up prompt for contact us. So this follow-up prompt is interesting because you'll notice when I press edit here, it has the option to talk to a person about it. So additional details prompt is that we've escalated this to human support and your inquiry will be responded to shortly. Now I added this by just doing the following. So let's just start from scratch here. You can press delete and then add a follow-up prompt for talk to somebody. And then I can either put the link, which would be not contextually accurate to this conversation, and then I could put or please use this button and chat with us. Now, once again, this is gonna override the prompt by me doing escalate to human. But if I press this and do add a follow-up prompt, now what happens is if I remove that link that sends them to the contact page, is that if I press any of these, so student discount, for example, this is the first one, follow-up prompt will show. If I refresh the chat and do the contact us one, then the contact us one will follow up, talk to somebody, right? So then this sends it so that if I press yes, continue, after I'm sure I want to escalate this to human support, that it will send to me in the chat history and it'll say conversation escalated. I'll get this little marker showcasing that. And I can even filter this to escalated. We'll go through chat history in another video, but yeah, this showcases it very well. So follow-up prompts are essentially going to follow up anything, right? This is starred because it's escalate to human. But for example, if I wanted to, I can add a follow-up prompt about anything that will go after any of these. Now, they may work in tandem, and SiteGPT does a great job of showcasing this on their own site. Like for example, we see on SiteGPT's same conversation, we can click what is SiteGPT? And there are a bunch of different options. So actually contact us, for example, contact us is just a question of how to contact them, or I can press escalate to human. I can ask them to elaborate, which would be a more detailed explanation, which would be a great follow-up to any of these different ones. Explain like I'm 5 is another option, just to make it more of a basic conversation. So once again, I would recommend that you add something exactly like what SiteGPT showcased. So for example, we could put elaborate. Can you elaborate on this for me? Press add follow-up prompt. And then after I would ask any question, whether it be for the quick prompts. So for example, what is the student discount at Rise Productive? And this is just to showcase that even if they don't do the quick prompt of that, it'll still use the follow-up prompt. So for example, elaborate. And since in this circumstance, I'm not getting information, I could talk to somebody, but for one that would work, I could ask a question. What is the Notion app system? It would give me a short response or a long response. And then I could ask for it to elaborate. Or in the other circumstance, I could make a follow-up prompt that would say, hey, can you explain this to me like I'm 5? But you'll see elaborate does in fact elaborate, even if it's already a pretty solid response. But overall, these are all the different ways that you can update the appearance of SiteGPT. In future videos, we're gonna dive into more of the settings of how this amazing product works. So let us know what you think about our product and let us know what you think about this video on how to improve your SiteGPT knowledge even more.